The boy had never seen sunlight. For 9 long years, Ethan Turner lived in darkness, until Grace Holloway, the family's maid, touched his face with trembling hands. It began as a moment of comfort, a simple gesture from a woman who cared too much. But when her fingertips brushed across his eyes, something stirred behind the silence of blindness. He gasped softly. The maid froze, and for the first time, a faint shimmer of light broke through the dark. Grace whispered a prayer she had not said in years. The mansion around them seemed to hold its breath. Was it a coincidence, or something no doctor could ever explain? Morning light slid gently across the marble floors of the Turner mansion, turning the air gold. The faint scent of lavender polish mixed with warm toast from the kitchen, another quiet start for Grace Holloway, the woman who cleaned what others barely noticed. She moved carefully through the living room, humming softly as she wiped the silver frames on the grand piano. Every hum, every step was part of her rhythm, a calm world built on routine and faith. Upstairs, Ethan Turner sat by the window, listening to the clock tick and birds call beyond the glass. He had never seen them, but he knew their songs by heart. Grace often described the colors for him. "The sky is like your laughter, blue and wide," she would say. That morning, as she brought in his breakfast tray, a sharp voice broke the peace. "Grace, please be careful with him," Mrs. Turner said coldly. "We cannot risk another accident." Grace lowered her gaze. "Yes, ma'am," she whispered, though she had never once failed the boy. Ethan smiled faintly, reaching for her hand. "You never hurt me," he said softly. But his mother had already turned away. The air felt heavier. Grace wiped her hands on her apron, glancing at the boy's pale, searching face. Something about this morning felt different, like the silence was waiting for something to happen. That afternoon, the mansion was quieter than usual. Ethan's father was away, and his mother kept to her study, leaving the boy in Grace's care. It was their favorite time, the only hours that belonged to them. Grace guided Ethan into the garden. The wind carried the scent of roses and cut grass, and sunlight warmed his face. "Tell me what it looks like," he asked. She smiled. "It looks like hope wearing petals," she said softly. He laughed, the sound bright and pure. For a moment, she forgot she was only a maid. She was his world's window, but hope quickly turned into pain. Mrs. Turner stepped out onto the porch, her heels striking the tiles like small hammers. "Grace, what are you doing?" she snapped. "You know the doctor said not to exhaust him." Grace froze. "He just wanted to feel the sun." Mrs. Turner crossed her arms. "You are paid to clean, not to pretend you are part of this family." The words cut deeper than she showed. Ethan turned toward his mother's voice, his hand tightening around Grace's. "She helps me see," he whispered. But Mrs. Turner was already gone, the door slamming behind her. Grace looked down, her throat tight. She remembered her own mother, a nurse who had died saving others. "Never let their title make you small," her mother used to say. Her eyes stung, but she smiled through it. "Come, Ethan," she said softly. "Let us prove the world wrong. If it were you, would you say something or keep quiet?" Later that evening, Ethan stumbled near the staircase. Grace rushed forward, catching him just in time. His small fingers brushed her face, trembling. "I wish I could see you," he said. Her heart ached. She knelt beside him, cupping his face gently. "You already do," she whispered. "With your heart." A soft silence hung between them. Then Ethan winced, touching his eyes. "It hurts," he said quietly. Grace's pulse quickened. The faintest shimmer, a tear or something else, glinted against his lashes. She reached out, afraid but certain. "It is okay, sweetheart," she whispered. "I am right here." Outside, thunder rolled across the darkening sky. Inside, something was about to change. Forever. That night, rain fell hard against the glass windows of the Turner mansion. Thunder rolled and lightning flickered across the walls. Ethan sat on his bed, tears slipping silently down his cheeks. Grace knelt beside him, holding his trembling hands. "It hurts," he whispered. Everything is dark, but it feels like something is trying to open inside me. Grace looked into his pale, sightless eyes, the same eyes she had cared for every day. She took a deep breath. "Then let it," she said softly. "Do not fight it. I am right here." She reached out, wiping the tears from his face. Her thumb brushed over his eyelids, slow and gentle. A faint warmth spread beneath her touch. Soft, glowing, alive. Ethan gasped. "I see. Light," he murmured. "It is small, but it is there." Grace froze. "What do you mean?" He blinked rapidly, squinting toward the faint lamp in the corner. His lips parted in disbelief. "I can see." "A shadow. The light." "And you." Grace's heart stopped for a moment. Then she smiled through her tears. "It is a miracle, Ethan." Mrs. Turner burst into the room, eyes wide. "What did you do?" she demanded. Grace turned calmly. "Nothing magic," she said. "Just kindness." For once, Mrs. Turner had no answer. She sank into a chair, staring at her son's eyes, no longer lifeless, but flickering with fragile hope. Ethan reached for Grace's hand. "You helped me see, Miss Grace." And in that quiet room, the truth was simple. Healing had come not from wealth or science, but from love. Share this if you still believe kindness can change the world. The thunder faded outside, leaving only the sound of their breathing, calm, steady, and full of something no storm could take away. Morning sunlight slipped through the curtains, the same light Ethan had once only imagined. He sat by the window now, smiling softly as he watched the world unfold in colors he had never known existed. Grace entered quietly, her uniform neat, her hands folded. She stopped when she saw him staring out the window. "It is brighter today," she said. Ethan turned, his small face glowing. "It is always brighter when you are here." Her eyes welled, but she kept her voice steady. "You did the hard part, Ethan. You believed." Mrs. Turner stood in the doorway, no longer distant or cold. Her gaze lingered on Grace, filled with something new, gratitude. "I owe you more than I can ever say," she whispered. Grace shook her head gently. "You owe only your heart. Keep it open for him." The woman nodded, humbled. The tension that had lived between them slowly melted into peace. Outside, the garden shimmered with dew. A single ray of sunlight landed on Grace's hand. The same hand that once wiped away a child's tears and now held the miracle of faith fulfilled. Ethan laughed as a bird flew past the window, his eyes following its wings. Grace smiled. The sound of his laughter was all the light she ever needed. Subscribe for more stories where silence turns into strength. And as the camera pulls away from the Turner mansion bathed in morning gold, one question lingers softly. What if the smallest act of love was the world's greatest medicine?